excited to be here. I've been blessed. What I do every time I sit in a gathering like this is to pick things I need to stand on. So I'm standing on several shoulders right now. And 2 days ago was Teachers' Day. And we know that these are teachers here. Mothers are first teachers. So I recognize every one of you. I just want to say happy Teachers' Day to you guys. Because no teacher can succeed without the parents. It's like husband and wife. Yeah, you can't do it without the mothers. So I really want to say thank you for all that you've been doing. A quick one, I just want to quickly jump on. Trevor, I broke my heart, for you. I'm really surprised. I was really surprised that UJ doesn't have a support for you when they have a course, an advanced diploma course on autism and all the rest. I'm really surprised. That shows how, like my neighbor said, how far we're still, But I'm really happy for you. And all the speakers that have spoken here, I'm really excited. One thing I know that I enjoy most being in South Africa is that you guys are very outspoken. Though in Nigeria they've started now, but you guys are well outspoken, advocating for your kids, and I'm really happy about that. Yes, I'm standing here today on many shoulders. In life, we are who we are right now because of the different people that have come into our lives. There are few people I want to acknowledge. They are also teachers. They contributed to my life for who I am today. This guy is a professor now in the US. He was the first person I worked with, and he's a psychologist. He's an ABA practitioner, and he believed in me. He introduced me to the next person, which is Christian BACB also. She was the first person that gave me, to encourage me, the book called Working in Progress, for those who know about Working in Progress. Then we have East South African, you all know her, Renate Lombard. She formerly was at Johannesburg Citizen School, and she first herself and Claire Allen put together and this lady, for me as a teacher, changed my perspective. When I came in for a training in 2012, that was when I met her. And when you're working with kids, especially individuals on the spectrum, even neurotypical kids, you need to differentiate. She explained it in a perfect way. She demonstrated it. So where I am today, I hold it to her also. Then Maggie Golden. I feel you guys are very lucky to have her. I tried everything to take her to Nigeria, but she passed away. Maggie Golden, I met her and she changed my life. From I was exposed to ABA. Then meeting Maggie, I fell in love with Teach and Makato and Pet. There's something, as a teacher, you need to have different tools under your belt to use when you're working with kids. And I'm so happy with what the former speaker, the former most beautiful woman in South Africa. Yeah, I thought that was the title she's holding. What she said about Not when she said medication might not work for you, but it might work for others. I was really, really happy with that. And the second thing, which I've experienced with kids I work with, is that the moment you are set, you start seeing progress. I've seen that a lot. For the few years I've been working with, the moment you are set, you start seeing progress. I was told to talk about challenging behavior, but to me, I feel you guys have really spoken a lot about different things, and I've got a lot to learn. So I'm going to do it in a quick way. I work with kids from as early as 3 to young adult, but right now I have my youngest student is 9, and I try to use, in the years that I've been working with kids, I have seen that our kids, aside that they learn differently, they've got different passion. So there are 3 things that I believe you cannot miss when you're working with kids. And I'm speaking to parents who are teachers. If you know your child's interest and you know your child's mode of communication, and the third thing, and you're familiar with his passion. Interest and passion might look as if they're the same. Those 3 things, you can use it. And you know, the passion means what motivates him. What are his strong reinforcer? When you know those 3 things, then you can do whatever you want to do, with that child. Because each and every one of us here, we've got interest. If you are someone who is passionate about sports, if I come to you and we're talking about fashion, you may not pay attention to me. But when I talk to you about sports, you are all ears. And it means I cannot communicate with you. And then when I know that you're passionate about sports, it means that I can teach you maths with sports. I can teach you English with sports. I can accommodate and modify every curriculum just to suit you. So, when we're talking about challenging behaviors, or behaviors that you're stuck, whenever you're stuck, when you're working with kids and you find out that you're stuck, let's talk about when you're stuck, when you look as if you're not making progress. The first thing, and the only thing, is always assessment. First of all, you need to assess. You start with the medical. First of all, you need to check. You need to rule out the medical option. Is the child going through? When I mean you assess, it's not you assessing to see if the child is feeling fine or not. But definitely, as mothers, you guys have sixth sense. When the child is not feeling fine, you know. So you need to first of all rule out the medical undertone. If there's no problem, if he's not having headache, or if he's not having fever, then when that is ruled out, the next thing is to assess the different skill area. Just to see, I said, have in mind that when the child is not making progress, it means that there's something wrong. Not with the child, but with the program, or with your goal, or with your targets, or with the people who are trying their best to help the child. You're familiar with the iceberg model, but this I decided the plants. As we see, the leaves are the different behaviors we see. Those are the things we can see. But underneath, just like we all can see the roots, underneath you have a lot of things going on that needs attention. So if you take off one leaf, let's say for example biting, it does not mean the behavior stops. It means that just like leaves grow again, it means that they grow again if you've not really dealt with the one underneath, which are the hidden causes that we need to really, and the only way for you to know, the only way for you to get to see this is when you properly assess the your child that you're working with or the student you're working with for you to discover this. And as I believe, none of us want our kids to start hitting us before we react, before we do something. The best way is to be proactive rather than reactive. The difference between reacting is that we wait till the behavior happens, then we do something. But being proactive is that before the behavior occurs itself, you've already done something. You've already put in place things to make sure the behavior does not occur. And one thing I just also need to say is that I'm not here to say any new thing that you guys don't know about. I bet you guys know more than I do because you live with your kids. But I'm here just to remind us in case we have forgotten. In case we have forgotten those things that we need to do. So like I said, we're not looking at the behavior now, we're looking at why is the behavior happening? Why? Whenever you see any behavior, the few years I've worked, parents will ask, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Or why is it doing this? And I said, okay, we need to unpack it. Let's see what function do you think it's serving. When I'm hungry, the first thing I do is to go to the fridge or get something. So it's the same thing with behavior. The moment we see it that way, then we find out that we're going to be making a lot of progress. Tom Enna, one of the presidents, the former president of the National Association of State Director of Special Education in the United States, said this quote, which I really love. We all know that if you're my mom, if I don't know how to read, you want to teach me. If I don't know how to drive, you want to teach me, But when it comes to behavior, we automatically expect that the child should just behave. We just automatically expect the child to behave. So we can't answer behavior. We can't give the same way we answered all those questions. We can't do the same thing with behavior because we're expecting something else. So first of all, we cannot do that if we don't understand that for every skill, there is need for you to teach them. But also when you're teaching them, you need to understand how to learn. You and I, you can't. Who likes to be corrected when you are hungry? Who likes to be taught when when you are hungry? Nobody. We all like, especially as married people here. When you do something wrong, you don't want your husband to talk to you when you don't want him to correct you, or when your husband, he also doesn't want you. So it's the same way with our kids. So, like I said, proactive strategy means that we need to focus on the function, not the form of the behavior. You know why? Because two behaviors can serve the same function. Biting and hitting can serve the same function. So if you understand, first of all, if you can dig into the roots to know why the behavior is occurring, then there are two ways in which we can look at this. We have the setting events and we have the antecedents. Setting events, I'm going to use this as an example. I've got a boy in my class. He came to one day when we were about starting maths, he just started crying. And I was wondering, why are you crying? He said, my dad moved my TV to his room. So I thought it just happened that same day, right? So I picked up the phone to call the dad. And he said, Femi, this happened 2 months ago. You understand? So you can see me as a teacher, I was assuming, maybe it just happened. So that is certain events. Certain events are things that happen, not just now. They're things that happened. It could be some hours ago, it could be some days ago, or some months ago. And that could trigger something. I don't know if you know that most times our kids are not present. You see, sometimes when you see them smiling, giggling, maybe you're teaching them something serious, it's because they might be replaying an event, so they are not present, and they either have their past tense or their future anxiety, thinking of what will happen. So that is certain event. It could be that he had a bad, he didn't sleep very well yesterday, and he's in school. You see, that is why I do tell parents, which parents are fantastic. You see a lot of the parents, they will quickly tell you, this is the situation, he didn't sleep very well. So I can accommodate. I can decide that, okay, while everybody, and again, our curriculums, my teachings are differentiated according to your ability. And so I could decide, okay, normally you do 5 songs, probably you're just going to do 2 because I've been pre-informed. The antecedents, the other parts in which we can, which I'll be focusing more on, is it could be anything like this thing. I'm going to use this same boy. During transitioning, moving from play time back to class, could be challenging sometimes because he loves his Lego that he's playing with. So that is the antecedent. That is exactly what happened. For example, if he started screaming or being acting out. So that is the antecedent. So now, for us to be proactive, because I don't know how I came to know all that wasn't because I'm a magician or because I see into the future. I was able to relate to the parents. I was able to observe. Observation is one of the first things I learned from Maggie Golden. You need to observe the child, not noting down what you think, but exactly as you say. For example, if I'm observing you and I'm told to write about you, I'm not going to say that she's putting on the red nail paint, she's putting, I'm not going to put that. I'm not going to assume what, I'm going to say exactly the way you are sitting down. That is me observing. So when we're working with our kids, observing, and that was what also a lot of you have been talking about, noticing, being attentive. So with that, having that understanding now helps me to to not to react, but to plan ahead. And what are the things that we use? We use different things that you guys have already been using. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to be saying so many things because I believe all these things are going to come up during question and answer. But let me just quickly tell you about my center. What I try to do with my kids is that I've discovered that they learn differently, and I've discovered that they like gadgets. They interact with it. And they've learned a lot. I can tell you the amazing results from those who are non-speakers who have started speaking, who are now, because we're able to channel, our instructions to their strength. We use their strengths to augment their weaknesses, and we even though we don't see it. We presume, even though we don't see it, like there's a girl in my class who is a non-speaker. She's got multiple diagnoses, and she's a non-speaker, but I discovered she loved to be read to. So we read to her, she listens to audio, reading books, and you see she's excited. She can't communicate, but she's soaking it in, which I believe if the parents have been privy to, if they've been exposing her to that, you could have seen a lot of vision. Because how do we speak? No, sir, is as we expose to language, right? That's how speech comes, So that's a few things we do. I'm really blessed. I'm not going to take much of your time. Hopefully, during the question and answer, I'll be able to say one or two things. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you.